Hello, everyone. Welcome to Career Happy Hour. We are so excited that you have joined us this evening for another episode. We have just some amazing information nuggets, an amazing host, guest co host that will be with us tonight. I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to get that live alert so that they can go ahead and join in. As you come in, please go ahead and drop in your name, where you tuning in from, and then what are you sipping on for happy hour? We have cocktails and mocktails that we want you to have handy and ready so that we will have just an amazing show tonight. Really excited to be able to be with you again this week. Hopefully, everyone is having a great week. It's been a long week. It's only hump day. It's Wednesday, but it feels like it's been a whole week already. But we're going to break that up and we're going to have some fun and enjoy some happy hour time. So as you come on in, please go ahead and drop in your name, where you tuning in from, and what are you sipping on. Hello, Kimiko. Oh my goodness. Cuz, you are up in the building for us for Career Happy Hour. Thank you for your support. So appreciate you. We need to connect too. I'll be dropping into town here in a little bit. So we need to connect, okay? All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's see here. My technical production here. There we go. Hello, everyone. I am Lashina Recruitalina. Welcome to Career Happy Hour. I am your six-figure career brand coach. I am absolutely obsessed with your success. And you know what we do here at Career Happy Hour? We're here to normalize earning six figures. And remember, six figures does not stop at $100,000. Oh, no. That is only the beginning of earning six figures. Six figures goes all the way up to one digit shy of, that's right, $1 million. And that's what we are here for. We are here for those ambitious career professionals and entrepreneurs who have high frequency, high vibrations, who are looking to continue to be successful in their life and their career and their business and their relationships. Oh, we cover it all, because all of those different components and dynamics is what makes up our life and our career, and how much earning power we actually have. And that is what we are so excited about here at Career Happy Hour. We have some more folks that have popped in. We have Laporia. Thank you so much, Laporia, for signing up. We just met last week online, and so appreciate you tuning in. And then we also have my bestie, Nigeria, up in the house. Happy hump day to you, girlfriend. So appreciate you. All right, we are going to go ahead and get started. We have had some amazing guests, and I keep saying that. And I have literally handpicked everyone who has been a guest co-host on this show up to this point. And I'm so grateful of the network that I have, of the knowledge that individuals have, and the impact that they're making on others as well as in the community. And tonight is no different. Tonight is even extra special on so many different levels. Tonight we have Jennifer Conforti, and we are going to talk a little bit about her background, but then also a little bit from a personal standpoint. So, and I know I just messed up your last name, but I'm gonna fix it. So Jennifer Conforti has over 15 years experience as a business consultant and has owned her own consulting firm since 2001. In 2013, she took a new path as executive director of Southside Support, Inc., a nonprofit organization serving special needs families in South Metro Atlanta. During her 3 years of service with Southside Support, the realization of the need for housing for adults with disabilities was too great to ignore. On May 1st, 2017, Jennifer founded Two Sparrows Village, Inc., and was appointed the executive director position once again for the purpose of building an intentional community for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities in Fayette County, Georgia. Jennifer is married to her husband, Byron, my cousin, and has one child, Abby, who is 6 years old. Abby was diagnosed with, and there's a technical name that I'll let Jennifer say, but autism spectrum disorder in 2012. Abby is the fuel that keeps Jennifer's fire for the special needs community burning. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome to the virtual stage, Jennifer! Oh my goodness. I am so pumped and excited because we've been talking about this for a little bit, trying to get the schedules coordinated to have you on the show. And you have made it happen, girlfriend. Even though, this week or last week, I saw you with hammer and nails and boards and construction hat. Was it that this week or last week?
That was last week, yeah.
I said, no wonder she's so busy. Like, she has a whole thing going on. What's the construction about? Can we just start there?
Sure.
That would be
so you read in the bio that I founded a nonprofit called Two Sparrows Village. And we have been raising money, as most nonprofits all nonprofits have to do, for the last 3.5 years. And then just this past January, just a few months ago, we signed an agreement with Christian City, which is a very well-known, well-respected retirement community in Union City, Georgia. And they are developing for us our first pilot program. So that was the demo on the building that they own that we are renovating into 4 individual units for adults with disabilities. So Two Sparrows Village really was born out of the fear that almost every parent I've ever met with a special needs child has, which is, what is going to happen to these kids when we're gone? Where are they going to go? Who's going to take care of them? Where are they going to live? And after working with Southside Support, which was my first introduction into the special needs world, I just kept meeting all of these parents in their 50s and 60s and 70s with special needs kids in their 30s and 40s and 50s. And they kept calling me and saying, is there any place where they can go? Do we have any communities around here? And I was like, I don't know. I don't think so. I have no idea. So I had no clue. So I just started researching, and I found 2 communities in Georgia, but both of them were very limited to certain types of disabilities. And nobody, and really, I'll get into that in a minute, but nobody really was working with all types of disorders and disabilities after the age of 22. And so I was like, well, gosh, I don't even know, who do we call to do this? And I will tell you how it started. I woke up on a Saturday morning. It was in January. I think it was like the 14th of January in 2017. So a little over 4 years ago now. And I heard almost audibly the following words. I heard, you need to build a community for adults with disabilities. Wow. And I was like, huh? What? And I was in my waking up stupor, and I'm usually a pretty quick waker-upper. So that really shocked me up. And I sat up, and I was like, I almost kind of looked around like, who said that? Well, I'm a believer in God and the Holy Spirit, and I really feel like the Holy Spirit was speaking directly to me. Like this is I'm going to commission you and several other people to make this community happen on the south side of Atlanta. And so when you're given a commission like that from who I believe is the Holy Spirit, you either shove it under a rock and pay no attention to it, or you get up and do something about it. And so that night happened to be a huge fundraiser down here in Fayette County that this kind of sort of famous guy, Dan Cathy of Chick-fil-A puts on every year. A couple of people have heard of him. And so I happened to be going to that fundraiser that night, this event for nonprofits in Fayette County. I was invited by my friend, and I thought, okay, I have no idea how to build this community, but I know people who do. And many of them are going to be in that room tonight. So I just started talking. And Lashina, I know you've known me for a couple of years now. I'm a blabbermouth. I will just talk, and I have a huge mouth. And I just started asking people and saying to them, listen, I think I'm supposed to do this. What do you think? And every one of them I spoke to. One of them is, his name is Rick Halbert. He's the GC on at the big development going on over here with the Dan's building. He said, yeah, what do you need? Let me help you. And then another gentleman who is an architect said, okay, I've built retirement communities my whole life. This is very similar to that. Let me help you. And I just started talking to people. And so that May of 17, I formed the corporation. And then in November of 17, we got our 501c3 from the IRS, and I built a board of directors who are, the constituents, I guess, of the cause. They have children with disabilities who will need a place to live someday, some of them. Others are in the industry of development or legal industry or whatever. So it's really been a labor of need and necessity, even more than of love, because I'm telling you, I will be honest with you, having a child with severe autism that like our Abby does, it's not fun all the time. It's not an easy life at all. And I don't love it. I love her very much. I don't love that life. It's hard. And so, hang on, my dog is drinking water, and she's really loud. Can you hear her?
Oh, now, yes, I can.
Comic relief time.
Well, while the dog is drinking that water, I think that's a great segue into, how that applies and how we show up in life. A key thing that you said that I think it's underestimated, the power of just opening your mouth and just saying, hey, I'm thinking about, or have you heard of? There is power in that. It's power in that with your job search, which a lot of people, who tune in are in job search mode and they're looking for their next job opportunity. We have entrepreneurs who are tuning in, so they have business deals and partnerships that they're trying to form. It is about opening your mouth, and that is where it started for you. In addition to listening to the Holy Spirit, there's power in that too, that you actually listen. So many times we hear it, but we don't act on it, and we don't listen, and then we wonder why things aren't working out in our lives. Because you didn't pay attention, and you paid attention.
Well, I'm glad I did. There were nights I wasn't glad I did. Anytime you build a nonprofit from the ground up, I hadn't done that before. I had worked as the director of Southside Support, but somebody else had already built the platform and the nonprofit. But boy, doing that from the ground up, and you can ask Byron, that's my husband. You can ask Byron anytime, the amount of hours and sleepless nights and money that was invested into that nonprofit. I wasn't making any money at the time. So he's thrilled that I'm actually running a magazine now and able to make some money. But but at the time, it was one of those things where I couldn't say no. I couldn't give that up. I had to try and make that happen. But it would not have happened if it weren't for the partnership that we have now with Christian City. It wouldn't have happened so quickly. To actually build a home for 4 adults in just 3.5 years of being a nonprofit, of actually being, recognized by the IRS, that's very rare. So it was the partnerships that we have, especially with Christian City and some of the other organizations around here who have really supported us over the years and have been very, very generous with their time and their money. So we're very blessed. It was supposed to happen.
Yes.
And God wanted it to happen. And when God wants something to happen, the key thing to do is get out of the way. Mm-hmm. Let him work, because it may not happen in the time frame you think, but if God wants to happen, it's going to happen. You still have to, he may, put you in a boat and out in the middle of the lake. He's going to give you an oar and you still have to row, but he's going to get you out of the middle of the lake. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to work with you to do that if you get out of the way and let him work.
Yes. And we have a comment from the audience. That's true. We have, yes, it is. And remember to put your name in there when you dropping your comment, because on some platforms it doesn't say your name. And the topic that we chose for tonight, it tickles me because, so many times we hear the phrase, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. But of course, we're doing it happy hour style. So when life gives you lemons, we're making lemon drops. So let's cheers to that and that gorgeous cup. What are you sipping on, my dear? What are you sipping on?
Oh, it is peach vodka with grapefruit club soda and a squeeze of lemon, and it is my new favorite cocktail. It's so good. It's like sweet, tart, delicious. So, and lower calorie, because the only thing you're charged with is the 68 calories that's in an ounce of vodka. Now, if I only put an ounce in there, that would be helpful, but I usually go a little heavy.
Do that. And I thought that was such an appropriate topic, because life is giving you lots and lots of lemons. It's just, and we all think that we all have lemons in our lives, and we do. But,
I hear you, Nigeria. I could just stop at peach vodka, too. I'm with you. Anyway, sorry, Lashina, go ahead.
Oh, somebody says, yum, I'm going to try that. You're giving some ideas.
That's good.
It's just, because it sounds as if at one point your career had this trajectory going. Like you were, you had your career.
Girl. So before I got pregnant, I was making upwards of, I had a 1.5 years where I was at the 6-figure range, right? And then, but high fives and doing well and by myself. And, I had my own consulting business in the dental world and I was loving every minute of it. And I found this wonderful man who lived in Atlanta, Georgia. I grew up in Chicago, but he lived down here, and he was like, you should move to Atlanta. And I was like, are you crazy? And he was like, no. And I'm all, yeah. And okay. So anyway, so I finally moved here and we get married. We have this baby. I stopped working. Thankfully he was, had enough income to keep us comfortable. But when he actually left his, position with another company and went on his own in, the fall of, I want to say it was 13, right after we moved to Fayette County from the city. And in February of 14, so maybe 3 months after he left his company and was starting his own business consulting in the media world, Abby started having horrible rages. We didn't know what it was. Just so you know, my daughter now is 10, actually. She was diagnosed at 1.5 years old with partial agenesis of the corpus callosum. And it basically means that she's missing part of her brain, and she's missing the part that connects the right and left hemispheres. So there's this neurotransmitter highway that's bottlenecked, and it can't get information from the right and left side back and forth. So that's that long Latin term. And then the following year, we got the secondary diagnosis of severe autism. So in February of 14, she started hurting herself. She started this self-injurious behavior, and she would bite her arm, and she would always bite her right hand or right forearm like this. And she would start bite. This little 3-year-old would bite and rip at her skin, just tear it, and bit herself bloody and black and blue and calluses and just awful. And so for 9 months, and I'm totally abridging this so we can get through this, sorry. For 9 months back at that time, I wasn't able to work. He was hardly able to work because we were constantly having to keep her from hurting herself. So we had no family in this area. We still don't have family. Oh, now we have you. But we had no family in the area at the time. We really weren't connected to the community because we had just moved here 6 months prior, and it was difficult to really get to know people. But we spent all of our days holding her in a safety hold to keep her from hurting herself. And so we went through, it was about 9 months of our 7th circle of hell, dealing with that horrible behavior. Nonverbal, by the way, still in diapers at 10, still nonverbal and still in diapers. But back then we searched out, I mean, doctor after doctor. We hospitalized her. We tried Reiki. We tried massage. We tried anything to get this kid to stop hurting herself. 30 different medicines, like pharmaceuticals and supplements, and ramping up and weaning off all of these medicines and supplements. Nothing was helping her. I finally found a blog online that was written by a woman whose older son out in California was hurting himself, but she was giving him medical cannabis. And I was like, what is this medical cannabis, and how do I get my hands on it? I didn't even know at the time. This is how dumb I am. I had no idea that cannabis was the legal technical term for weed. I had no clue. No clue. So I grew up in a very conservative home, and it was the 80s when I was in high school, and it was Nancy Reagan, just say no. And so I thought dope smokers were losers and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, very long story, much shorter. I figured out how to get medicine. I bought an ounce of street weed. I learned how to make it in my kitchen on YouTube. And I made her some medicine and gave it to her and had her off of her pharmaceuticals and just on medical cannabis. She's been taking it ever since. So we're almost at the 7-year mark of her taking cannabis for her autistic behaviors. It's the only medicine that has reduced those severe behaviors by, I would say, probably 90%, maybe 95%. I'm blown away by how wonderful this medicine is and can help children with disabilities and all sorts of different types of ailments or diseases or diagnoses. So I ended up going to the Capitol and meeting with the representative from Macon, Georgia, Alan Peake, who was writing the bills back in 2016. I testified in front of the House committee hearing that we were breaking the law to give our daughter medical cannabis. And 2 years later, we had autism added to the bill as a qualifying condition. And 2 years ago, in 2019, Governor Kemp finally signed into law that Georgia companies can grow, manufacture, and dispense medical cannabis for Georgians. So we are still working on getting the licensures for the different companies that will be growing it, but it's in the works. And thank God we will, hopefully by this time next year. It was supposed to be last year, but of course COVID. So everything is but COVID.
Yes.
So, yeah. But hopefully by this time next year, we will actually have dispensaries for people who are suffering, who need it here in Georgia, and we won't have to break the law anymore. I'm so excited.
Wow. Now, for those who received my email that I sent out today about tonight's episode and to talk about Jennifer, I use the word shero, and that's what you are. You are a shero around here.
My
I
husband's
mean,
going, yes, you are.
yes. I mean,
He's
just
crazy.
put you on a cape. I mean, you have helped push this agenda forward. I love it. You, you. I
Well, it
mean,
wasn't just me. I mean, there were whole lots of people that went to the
yes,
Capitol and fought. I
yes,
was just one of the people. And I could not have done it if it weren't for Byron at home holding down the fort
yes.
and changing Abby's diapers and, everything that needed to happen. I happened to be the mouthpiece, which was, it was great. It was a good thing. I would not have gone to testify if Byron hadn't said yes, because he is a very wise individual. But when he said to me, I think it needs to come from a mother, which I agreed with him. And he said, and if we don't do it, who's going to do it?
Right.
Because we were risking jail time. I was risking jail time. I was risking Abby being taken by Department of Children and Family Services, which
Yep.
still, I can't take that for granted. I still give her medicine. It's still not legal, technically, federally speaking, in Georgia for me to give it to her. But everybody knows what I'm doing. So far so good. I don't take it for granted, but it's what helps my daughter. I don't think a jury of my peers is going to convict me. So
And the courage
I
that
hope.
it takes to do what you have done and what you're continuing to do, that's so courageous of you. And that and
Or
and I
stupid. I'm
see,
kidding.
I told y'all, she knows how to laugh at herself. And that's what I adore about you, is because you are silly, funny, but you see how she can switch on that seriousness and that business. Like, you got to be versatile around here. But at the same time, you are able to have such, a smile on your face. Let's put it that way, because that's what life is about. We have all these lemons in our life that, could pucker our lips and make us quite the meanie, or you can make lemonade and lemon drops and put a smile on your face, because it's only with that attitude that we're able to accomplish what we're meant to accomplish and impact the people that we're meant to impact. And that's what you're doing, is making an impact, turning your lemons into some lemon drops. And you keep on rolling.
I will add to that. I think also to be able to laugh at myself or smile now, it has taken many, many nights of throwing plates across the room, or whipping my water bottle at the wall, or screaming in my closet because I can't get my daughter to stop hurting herself. Or, there have been lots of nights where it isn't sunshine, and you do have to have those screaming, angry fits sometime. You just do. I do anyway, or I'll just blow up. Thankfully, my husband's very calm, and when I go into a blow up session, he just slowly turns around and walks away. Like, he's just like, I'll see you later. Just stay out of her way. But I need that time. I need that release. And it's okay to get angry. It's okay to get frustrated. Do it. Get it out of your system.
Yeah.
Get it out of your system. Don't stew on it, for Pete's sake. Let it go. And then get up the next morning. Give yourself a time period. This is what I did. I still do this. I give myself a time period, like 24 hours. I'm going to be really ticked off for 24 hours. And just get out of my way, because I don't want to see anybody. I'm going to punch you if you come near me. But after 24 hours, I'm done. It's time to get up and move on. So give yourself a time frame.
I like that.
Yeah, feel it. Go ahead and feel it. Be mad, be upset, but don't let it stew and carry on. Get over it. Move on.
Yes. And also, it's about giving yourself permission, because I think sometimes we can be so hard on ourselves that we feel as if, no, we need to be happy not all the time, but we need to get past it. But you're right. There's sometimes that you just need to be like, you know what? I'm just gonna stew in this for a minute, not forever.
No,
but
not
just
forever.
For a minute.
24 hours. That's my limit.
I like that. Let's see. Vancille says, this is so true. I need the recipe. It is. It's just a lot that we have to deal with in life. I mean, because that's what life is about, right? It's about having those ups and it's about having those downs, but we want to have more ups than we have downs, and keeping forward in and trying to solve it. You know, sometimes we can just complain and not offer suggestions or not offer solutions, and that's what you've done. You didn't just stew in it and say, woe is me, but you said, you know what? I'm listening to that voice and I'm going to make a difference.
Well,
And the difference that you're making for so many families to come, it's just amazing.
that's the hope. We're still, there's a lot of work that's left to be done. Georgia will still not have the types of laws and sorry, that's the kitchen sink. The types of laws that they do in California that they've had for 20 years or 30 years, or however long it's been. We're not going to be as liberal as Illinois, my home state. I could move home and get whatever I wanted, but of course, I don't want to leave Georgia. I actually really like it here. I love Fayette County. I love where I live. But I just feel like we need to get it where it needs to be here. And then we need to get it where it needs to be federally. It's ridiculous that medical cannabis is not allowed federally. So I don't care about recreational. I don't, Byron and I don't smoke it. That's not our thing. But I don't care if you do. If somebody does, enjoy. It's a beautiful plant and medicine, and it does feed a system in our bodies that could potentially need that medicine. But in any event, I think that federally we need to have medical cannabis laws. So
now for other parents or families who have a child that, is, there's so many different aspects of autism, so many different, I'm not as well versed in it, but I know there's spectrums to autism and or disability in general, because that just can be taxing on a family, like you said.
Very.
To know, what do you do when they're no longer a minor? They're an adult, and usually there's a graduation period of the child moving into adulthood and moving on to their and creating their own life. But in this case, that's not the situation. So what advice would you give to other parents or families that might be, have a similar situation and they're like, what am I going to do?
Well, number one, I think the thing that was really helpful to me was finding groups on Facebook. That I'm of the Facebook age. I don't do Instagram. I'm too old for Instagram. My husband does, but I don't. But I just, Facebook seems to have those community groups that are out there. They're out there. They're pretty much in every community around the country, I'm sure. Look out, reach out for help. There may be groups that have, they may be specific to that, whatever disability, like cerebral palsy groups or autism groups or whatever. But reach out and find that. As far as what's going to happen to your adult child with a disability, if you're a parent with a child over the age of 22, which is basically when the federal government and their schools say, okay, we've had you for 22 years. It's time for you to go. It's nice knowing you. Goodbye. So honestly, I don't know what to tell them because there's no place for them to go. That's the sad state we're in. The infrastructure for this should have begun about 40 years ago, because about 40 years ago was when we discovered what autism was, what these learning disabilities were. And then from that point up till now, the numbers have not gotten smaller. They've gotten much, much larger with how many kids are living with some sort of even just autism spectrum disorder. Right now in Georgia, they estimate that people living with autism spectrum disorder on one of the levels, and that could be anything from ADHD and high functioning Asperger's to severe autism, is around 200,000 people just in Georgia. So I don't have an answer to tell a parent where to go or who to talk to, because there isn't any place to go and there isn't anybody to talk to. That's the sad part. We have dropped the ball as a society, because I'm not getting political here, but I am going to make this statement. In my opinion, I feel like the people that we should be supporting as a society are the people who truly cannot care for themselves, who do not have the mental capacity to be independent. There are people that they're still lives. They are still important people. Obviously, I feel very strongly about this because one of them is my daughter. But it's not just me. It's hundreds of thousands of other caregivers and families across this country. And we've let them down. We have marginalized these people, these adults, and we have not provided the care or the training or the the vocational support, job search, whatever, for this very large demographic of people. So, Two Sparrows Village, if you ever want to check it out. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Nigeria. Sorry, I'm reading her comment. So twosparrowsvillage.org. It's TWO, so the word two, and then sparrows, the bird with an S at the end, and then village.org. That is our website. You can go on there and check us out. We are just now, we just had the demo on our pilot program, this building that we're renovating at Christian City, but they plan to develop many, many more units for us in the next 3 to 5 years. They have 200 acres that are sitting there undeveloped. So this partnership will continue. And I call it a BHAG, my big, hairy, audacious goal is to have a Two Sparrows Village in as many communities around the country that we can possibly fit it, because this model of building a community for adults with disabilities alongside a community for seniors and senior living is not being done. Nobody's doing that. And those two populations are really good together. Like, our kids kind of act like little old men and women. So it's kind of just fit perfectly in that world together. So we're hoping that we get this model right so that we can then scale it and grow a Two Sparrows Village in Poughkeepsie, New York, or Madison, Wisconsin, or wherever around the country. So it is a real struggle, Deborah. It is a real struggle. And trying to figure out what you're going to do with these kids someday. I will say this, medical cannabis is very helpful for ADHD, very helpful. You have to know what you're doing and who you're giving, how you're getting it and who you're getting it from. I don't suggest ever willy-nilly just purchasing anything off the street and trying it like I did. Please don't do that. But when you're that desperate, you're like, I'll do anything. Right. Replaced with arsenic. Just give this kid something, Get her to stop chewing her arm off. Anyway, so but where that person who commented, I missed the name, but Deborah, where does she live?
Deborah's in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah, Deborah, feel free to reach out or shoot me a message on Facebook or whatever. I can talk with you about options too.
Yeah.
And, depending on where you're at and whatever. So.
And I think the other thing to highlight, and again, it's a lot of different spectrums of autism and disability in general. But I think as employers, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, there is an opportunity for you to widen your your options of employing individuals who may not have everything that is, as we call it in the recruiting world, that purple squirrel. You are asking me, hiring manager, as a recruiter, to look for this purple squirrel.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if you look for individuals that have great work ethic, are dedicated, hardworking, we can employ some of these individuals who otherwise they would not get an opportunity to be employed.
It's true. It's very true. And there's more and more companies are starting to wake up to that. They're starting to realize the gifts and talents that our kids have. For us, we don't foresee that Abby will ever be able to hold a job, but we don't know. She's only 10. We don't know what could happen in the next 10 or 15 years, medically, or what, there's a lot of research with stem cells in the brain. They have not perfected that yet. So who knows what could potentially happen. But at this point, we don't foresee our daughter being able to be independent at all. She will need a full-time caregiver the rest of her life. So we have to plan for that. But, we're actually not among the lower amounts. There are so many, I would say probably half of the children that have been diagnosed with autism are considered severe.
Wow.
They're not all like Rain Man who can sit and, recite the phone book. They're not all like some savant who can play amazing classical guitar. They're not, that's actually rare. The majority are like Abby. And so there's a lot of us living with kind of that dark world of autism that nobody talks about. I talk about it a lot.
Yes. And we need you to keep talking, so that's okay. So you are the voice behind it, so we need you to keep on talking because you have been given a mission and you're fulfilling that mission. And I know you talk about your location, your geographical area, that you really love it where you are in Fayetteville. And so I would love for you to talk to us a little bit about how that love of your location then turned into a whole business.
That was Byron's fault. I totally blame him.
Getting blamed for everything. Bless his heart.
He does. Well, it's always his fault. Actually, it's usually my fault. But
Von Steele popped up a comment. They're debating the cannabis bill right now in Alabama. My disease is so unknown. We really suffer in silence. And Myas.
Oh yeah, myasthenia gravis. Myasthenia, I think it's how it's pronounced. Gravis. Is it Von Steele? Is that what I said?
Von Steele, I think. Von Steele.
Von Steele. Yeah, just feel free to reach. I mean, if you want to message me on Facebook, or I'll be happy to give you my email if you want. Can I actually just write in this chat, or will
yes, you can.
So if I just put my email in there, will that go to everybody?
Let's see.
Or do I need to put it in the comments?
In the comments, I think.
It won't let me comment. I'm not.
I grab it. I'll grab it and then.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so a couple of years ago, my husband came to me and he said, well, first of all, when we moved here from the city, I had moved like 12 times in 14 years and I was not interested in moving anymore. So we moved here almost 8 years ago now. And I did this thing. I did the Italian Chicago point my finger in his face. And I said, now you listen to me. We're not moving anymore. We're staying here for 20 years. This is where we're going to be. And we're putting our roots down and we're getting to know people in the community. And I am going to know the mayors and the, civic leaders and the whatever. I'm going to know people. I'm going to get involved. And so I did. And I just started meeting people. Of course, the nonprofits helped and went to a whole bunch of spoke at Rotaries and Kiwanis's and all sorts of different, community service organizations and what have you. And just got to know everybody. So a couple of years ago, Byron came to me, he said, hey, I heard about this magazine that a friend of mine is trying to launch in Arizona. And he said, he thinks that we'd be really good at it. I think we should look at that. And at the time I was a year into Two Sparrows. So I was like, are you insane? I actually said that. Are you insane? I'm not publishing. What do I know about publishing a magazine? I don't know anything about that. And so he has history in media, and sales and all that. So he says to me, he goes, Well, let's just listen to him. I'll be the publisher. I'll handle the sales, he says, and you just, be the back end. But you already know everybody, so we'll work it out. So I went to training. We get back. Well, I hit the ground running like balls out. I was just meeting with people left and right. I was selling advertising, trying to get to the point where we could launch. So basically now I'm the publisher. He does all the back end, but he knew this is the genius that is my husband, Byron Pugh. He knew that I needed this. I didn't know I needed it, but he knew it. And he knew that I loved to be out there and talking to people and creating relationships and building networking platforms and helping other businesses share their brand and their reputation and really building them and supporting them. And so he knew that I needed to be back in the work field. And I am. So now I'm publishing a magazine called Fayette County Lifestyle, which is really kind of fun. This is our April Eco issue. And it's all about Fayette County. And we tell stories about anybody and everybody because we all have stories. Mm-hmm. And my mission is to create a sense of inclusion and diversity in Fayette County. So we pride ourselves on telling stories that need to be told, no matter who, what, how you are, or what the situation is, unless it's somebody that's biting heads off of bats and drinking turpentine. I don't know. I'm not going to tell that story, but it needs to be something a little positive.
I wouldn't be surprised, Jennifer, if you would.
Yeah. No, we're not going to do that. But but we don't get political. We don't get, this is truly a community magazine that is pretty pictures about wonderful people in our community. So I have been able to turn the love for Fayette County back around and share it with Fayette County. So yeah, thanks for that awesome spin, because you're absolutely right.
And you're on Facebook, that people can find you there. What's the Facebook?
Fayette County Lifestyle.
Okay.
And my personal, I'm Jennifer Conforti on Facebook, so that's easy peasy. But Fayette County Lifestyle, both on Facebook and Instagram. Would love a follow, would love a like. Just check us out. You can go on our website. From there, the links are on those pages, and check out our magazine. We'd love it. If anybody wanted to advertise a business, that's what we do. That's how we get into mailboxes. We get mailed directly to homes every single month, 7,500 homes. And our whole thing is that we know who we're going to because we go to the affluent homes in Fayette County. And so our home value range is around $400,000 to $4.9 million. So that we know we're not just pickup only. That's the key. We actually get mailed into homes.
Wow, which is an anomaly right now, and just the situation that we're in right now. That so much is virtual and online. Yeah. That you still have a real book to touch.
And it's soft, and it's got like that satiny finish on it.
Ooh, nice.
If you're into, textures or whatever.
Yes, I'm such a texture girl. I really am
too. I totally am.
I've learned that. Well, definitely, reach out to Jennifer for any of, what she's covered tonight. Support her on the magazine. What's the
Oh no, I was just going to say this sweet lady I met this last month. Her name is Avril. She's the community health coordinator at Piedmont Heart down here, and she's talking about living clean living. So just, really just fun articles about people that live here, work here, play here. So that's what I love.
Anyway. I like that. And, I'm all about the storytelling. And I feel as if that's what Career Happy Hour is about. It's about telling people's, what I call their career story. Yeah. Because your career, people think of it as from A to Z. It needs to be this very defined, this is what I'm going to do when I'm going to go to college. When I finish college, I'm going into this career, and this is what I'm going to do until I retire. Wrong.
I was a dental hygienist right out of college. So wow. Dental hygienist.
Is that what you wanted to be when you grew up?
Like when I was 12 years old, I told my mother, I said, I'm going to be a dental hygienist. And I thought I would be the rest of my life. But yeah. Didn't work out that way. Now I'm
Oh.
publishing a magazine. Go figure. And running a nonprofit. Well, not running it anymore, thank God. I gave off the executive directorship to an amazing woman, Jackie Thornton, who knows so much about the industry. So thank God she's in my life, because she's the reason why we've moved into this next phase. She's amazing. But anyway.
Wow. Somebody said that I didn't put the contact information in the chat, so I don't know why it didn't show up, but I am putting it on the screen. So you can jot it down, and it is forever in the archives of this taping so that you can have it. But definitely reach out to Jennifer and connect with her. Like, you just never know. And that's what I've learned about life is, even though it may not impact you today, you just never know how the information that you're receiving right now is preparing you for something down the road. And by tuning in and getting this information, even though it may not apply to you right now, you're really investing in your future self. And I believe in that. There's just so much that I've learned that I wasn't able to use immediately, but by investing in my future self, when it came around, I had less of a learning curve. And it's just a powerful thing. That's why, to be a lifelong learner and to continue to learn. So, that's what this show is about. Sharing career stories, being able to learn from each other, be there for each other, the power of your network. You've just given such amazing examples of how all of that connects back, and that just by your network, the things that you can accomplish, the things that you can do. And I'm sure it's also comforting because you know that you're not alone in it. You're building this community.
Yeah, it's very true. Agreed.
That can pour into you and you pour into others. Well, we are getting close to the very end. I know it flies by. It's just so amazing how that happens. What does Von Seal want? I think that was, I want one. I'm not sure. Oh, you want a magazine, Von Seal. Maybe that's what she said. So how can they get a magazine?
Yeah, well, we can, we can add, if you want to be on the subscriber list, just shoot me an email. I gave you my personal email, and that's fine. You can shoot me an email with your address, and I can add you to my list.
Awesome.
You get them, don't you, Lashina?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love mine. Yes. I got my older copies right here. But you get the point. Any parting words, call to actions, any lemon drop moment that you
I would say, if I could leave you with anything, I already said feel it. If you've got a bad day, feel it and then get over it. But I think the number one key for me in all of my business dealings with, over the years, or the nonprofit experience, has been networking and connecting with other business owners, with other individuals who have started organizations, with other people that have done a particular job that I wanted to do. I remember I sought out a mentor when I first started as an executive director in the nonprofit world. And that sweet, wonderful mentor is now one of my writers. So in the magazine, she and I have stayed in touch, and she's right around the corner from me, and she's just precious. I love her to pieces. So you never know. You never know by networking what you could potentially use, just like you said, Lashina, in the future. You're preparing yourself for your future. And then the second thing I would say is be bold. Be bold with your convictions. Be bold with your heart. Be bold with your mind and your mouth. Be honorable, but be bold, because people aren't going to know what you need until you tell them. People aren't going to know what you want until you tell them. And it's okay to tell people things. So be bold, be honorable, and don't give up. Keep going.
That's amazing. That summarizes it all in this big nutshell that you can take away, as one of my friends talk about. She said, Lashina, you bring the nuggets. And I was like, I know, this is great nuggets. And that is, if there's any nugget that you can ever take away, is that. So thank you so much, Jennifer.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you. You are so beautiful and adorable and sweet. And I'm so glad we're related by marriage. And you should tell that story one day.
That is, yes, that's a story that will go down in the history books.
I love that I know you. I love that I know you.
Oh,
thank you for asking me to be here.
Thank you so much. And I know Abby is just probably not happy with me right now that I have
she's up playing.
Away.
No, she's playing in her therapy room, so she's very happy right now. It's all good.
Oh, good. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming and spending some time with us and spending time with the audience and just being able to do the amazing things that you've done and that you are yet destined to do. There's so much greatness that is still there, and you're gonna rock it.
Thank you, sweetie. Much love. Thanks, everyone. What do we weigh? I don't know what. Good night.
Good night. Well, thank you guys so much again for all of your support, for tuning in to Career Happy Hour. We have had another amazing hour with you to be able to share just so many things that you're able to hopefully take away, digest, reflect on, and make you a better version of you. And hopefully, if you're in some kind of rut, that we've given you some things to think about, that it's okay that you're in a rut, but just don't stay there. Be able to get past and move on. And sometimes it takes more than just you to do that. It's a community. It takes support. And that's what we are here for. We are a group of ambitious, high frequency, high vibration career professionals and entrepreneurs who are here for each other. If we have things that we need to unpack, if there's things that we need advice on, if there's things that you have questions about, we have the private Facebook group that you can always go in and we can chat it up. You have access to me. You're able to email me if you need any assistance with attracting opportunities to be able to move on in your job search or land your next promotion or to brand yourself in your career or in your business, then that's what I'm here for as well. So make sure that you go to the website, I Am Ready, Recruit Alina. When you're ready, being sick and tired of being sick and tired, then you go to IamReadyRecruitAlina.com, because I am absolutely obsessed with your success. We want to normalize earning six figures so that you stay recruitable, visible, and profitable. You have a most amazing night, and we will see you same time, same day next week. Take care.